Viewer discretion is advised. I've been pulling that fucking card all day today, dude. It's been a gnarly day, but happy that it's 9:10 on a Wednesday evening. Can only mean one thing. Your boys reporting eligible is on air. Be ready to hear unsolicited thoughts and opinions because opinions are like assholes. Everybody has ones. And certainly on this platform, ours fucking matter. But to say the least, from me, my guy Bro Talk, what say you? How are you, my friend?
I'm tired. Life's been busy for me, but Ian Cunningham's been busier revamping that roster. And at Georgia's Pro Day, he was at Georgia Tech's too. This man looked out his back window and said, there's two colleges here. Why?
We have a fun system.
I'm like, we can go get some dogs if we want to, right?
Absolutely.
That should get the fans fired up. It's funny to see that because the last, 4 years, pleading and begging just to go. And then, we drafted Jalen Walker last year, but it was like
the track record before that, man.
It was like Terry had no idea who was here. But, I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm trying to collect my thoughts. But, been busy, much like Ian, Matt, and Kevin.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I've been doing the same, man. Just trying to, I got a lot of time on my hands recently. A lot of stuff has happened, but it's all good. The arrow's pointing up, and I hope for it to keep going up, man. But for those that are up with us right now, we thank you so much. The chat is lit and live. We already got a super chat from our guy Dwayne Ruffin out in sunny SoCal with the $1.99 bid. We thank you so much. Rise up, my brother. For sure, man. Yes, a lot of exciting things happening in Atlanta. The first wave of free agency, it comes with a bit of confusion, right? Because obviously the marquee names, Bro Talk, what we eating today? Man, this man.
I already
That's
ate.
probably coming soon. Oh, you already ate?
Yeah, we ate.
Hey,
I came home hungry, so I had to
hear that.
dinner.
Yeah, man. Kudos. That's all good, man. So the first wave of free agency is behind us, and it's come with a mixed bag of reactions, right? The marquee names obviously not here in Atlanta, and that's due to some, cap restraints, and we have to respect that. I think you mentioned it yourself, Ian didn't have a clear hand to deal with when he came to Atlanta, right? The cap situation and the decisions he had to make going forward, we're going to factor in. But the number one thing that I think that we should take away, which we're going to dive into now, is the depth that we're creating here in Atlanta, and the depth that we're accumulating does to the average fan should strike a chord with, because as we all saw last year, our depth was challenged, right? And our depth kind of went left once we lost Divine Diablo last year in that 49er game. What was this Falcons defense at that point, and the adjustment time that it took for us to start utilizing players in their right roles in order to kind of 180 the defense yet again. So it was a tale of two sceneries with this Falcons defense. I think Ian, much like Matt Ryan, much like Kevin Stefanski, it's all cerebral guys, have assessed the roster and said, okay, this is what we need to attack first. Now, I'm a firm believer in quality over or quantity over quality. And let me explain myself with that, right? Because I've lived and died by that. While Max Crosby would have looked amazing in a Falcons uniform, he wouldn't have solved all the problems and issues for Atlanta. So what do you do in order to pivot that? Okay, you go out and you sign Samson Ebukam. You acquire an Azeez Ojulari. You go and you get a Christian Harris, a Channing Tyndale. You make bold and strategic moves like that, that if something was to go left, you got solid guys now that are on the roster that you don't have to worry about. Okay, how does Jeff Ulbrich, pivot and make the defense work? And he doesn't lose his strategy or his scheme because he doesn't have the right players sitting behind some of the starters that are there. But to that, how do you feel this first wave of free agency has gone for our Atlanta Falcons?
I think it's been great. I think it's a change of pace. And
Mhm.
to the average fan outside of Atlanta, it's like, what have the Falcons done? They haven't really done anything. Well, us as fans know that once that starter went down, whether it was, Mike Hughes, AJ
Mhm.
Terrell, an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, right? Zach Harrison going down. Um, it was like the quality of play severely dipped. And like you said, Divine Diablo was a huge one, right? We had Guardian Cap, wannabe
Yeah.
playing defense out there, and he looked like he wasn't ready. Oh, speaking of him, I'm
Right.
sure it's going to be very, very surprising if he makes this roster. But
Mhm.
Ian saw that, right? Assessed. I'm sure he's been assessing before free agency started with Matt, with Kevin, and said, we can't have this happen. If one of our guys goes down, the person we signed doesn't have to be a superstar, but just can
Mhm.
do their job enough to help us win football games. So for Ian to go the way he's doing it, right? Signing them to some pretty cheap deals, right? The only one that's really been expensive is Jahan Dotson. And some
Mhm.
people may say he's an upgrade from Darnell Mooney. I would say that it's a different type
Different.
of
Yeah.
player.
Mhm.
Darnell Mooney can create separation vertically versus Jahan Dotson, I feel, can create separation across the middle. Right?
Mm.
He can be a vertical threat, but I like at least this is what I think. I think the thought process is the speedy guy across the middle, the gadget guy, someone that fans be like, oh, go get Zakarian Branch out of Georgia. Well, we have Jahan Dotson, right? That can be our Zakarian Branch, right? He's got the speed, right? He was a first rounder for a reason out of Penn State. But overall, the one that really like struck my fancy, I was like, there's no way. And it could have been because he had an injury last year. Samson Ebukam for $2 million. What?
He's been a
Like,
productive edge for as long as he's been in the league, has always been very productive. We lost out on guys like Leonard Floyd. And I say lost out because there's no guarantee that he resigns, right? But tomorrow we can wake up to the news that he resigned for cheap money. So the production, like you saw Leonard Floyd, Samson Ebukam offered the same thing. He's that 6 to 7 sack guy, and who else is a 6 to 7 sack guy? And the numbers don't show from last year. Was Aziz Ojulari as well. And that was a guy that 2 years ago, every Falcon fan and their mother were banging on the table. We got to get this guy, and we're down the throat of Terry Fontenot that we didn't give up that fancy third-round pick, right, for him. He's here in Atlanta on a cheap deal as well. These are the types of signees that we have to learn to appreciate, because the track record for these players does kind of speaks for itself, right? And we saw what Jeff Ulbrich was able to do with guys, this past year, and maximize everybody's potential, right? 57 sacks. Haven't seen numbers like that since the early 2000s, man. So I'm excited to see what he can get out of these two edge guys. What Christian Harris, what duo that can form with Divine Diablo, two big guys in the middle of this defense. Okay, good luck, opposing offenses trying to attack the middle of this Falcons defense. But I'm sure, there are other moves to be made in Atlanta. You touched on, the Samson Ebukam deal. Deshaun Hand for me that's a signee that I dig a lot. I really, really do. He's not a sexy guy by no means. He's just a hand in the dirt guy that brings his lunch pail to work every day. I'm going to get my job done, and I'm going to do it right. Sure, he's a journeyman. He's bounced around with teams, but he might find a home here in Atlanta, and not just for this year, maybe for the long term. So, I mean, your thoughts, if you have any, right quick, on the Deshaun Hand signing. A guy that comes out of Alabama. We just so happen to have Dave Huxtable, who is the senior advisor on the defensive side for Atlanta. That could have been, a whisper in the air for Ian and company. So I don't know. We got to start treating these signees sometimes and making those types of connection as well.
Yeah, I think the Hand signing is great because we also re-signed Lakel London. You got to
Mm,
get some run stuffers, and you got to get guys rotating in there, right?
yeah.
Rook is still a developing guy. He had an improvement last year. We need to
Mm,
see another leap from him, right, going into year 3. But just getting him that vet presence.
I
I'm
do
not.
have 4.6 speed.
I don't. I think I'll have six flat speed. Okay, not the fastest guy, but I'll catch the ball. Unlike Darnell Mooney last year.
Ouch.
Hey, if Michael
Yep.
threw it my way, I'm catching that sucker. I'm just saying.
Fact. There you
But
go.
some run stuffers, right? We've been asking for that in the middle of the defense. What is Jeff Ulbrich going to run? Is he going to run the same thing? Is he going to run Jeff Ulbrich of New York? Is he going to run a Gus Bradley mixture? Is he going to run a Dan Quinn mixture? Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
right?
you don't know.
And
Right.
and you know, we talked about this. The types of players they're signing kind of leans that we're not going to run a similar front like we were last year. Maybe coverage wise,
Mhm.
will be very similar.
Mhm.
But as far as a defensive front, we'll still be gap shooters, but we'll have more wider stances, right? More even fronts, more under, something that you saw in New York. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, a couple guys that we're looking at in the draft that I
Mhm.
think would fit that mold. So
Mm.
overall, I think Ian's done a great job. He's gotten some contracts off the books. He's made
Mhm.
those decisions that we all kind of saw coming, but it's like, would it have happened if Terry was still here? Probably not. And
Probably not.
you know, with Ian, he's using these cheaper signings, these vet signings to really assess his football team. I think people have touched on it. We're not doing a rebuild because we've got talent to be competitive. I think it's more of a soft rebuild, right? That you see
Mhm.
teams kind of take a step back to look at the bigger picture and see what they really need to focus on. Even though we all kind of know what we need to focus on, right? The quarterback position, that's really been
Mhm.
the Achilles heel for us since Matt Ryan left.
Mhm.
But he wants to assess the roster as a whole and not pigeonhole himself into just one position.
I like this question here by Bones. Is do you guys think Bijan needs a vet at running back as a running mate, or will a rookie be enough? I, for one, I don't think that he needs a vet behind him. I think Bijan is operating like he is a goddamn veteran. You know, you see what he has done each year in and year out, whether that be now under Stefanski's scheme or under Robinson's scheme. I think he's just going to get better. I think that Stefanski's going to utilize him, I think, better than what Robinson did. If I'm being correct. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but bluntly, I don't think so. As far as a rookie, no, but I would like to see a guy, you know, 450 year running back if available, which there is one, and I'll bring his name up in a moment. You know, that can come in and do a lot of the things that Tyler Algier did. He needs a running mate like that because obviously you don't want to run him down. You don't want to run him down. And Stefanski knows what it's like to juggle two running backs. He did it with Nick Chubb and my God, what's his name? Kareem Hunt back in their heydays. So he knows how to balance a backfield. So I don't think they need a solid vet to be honest with y'all.
Nah, I'm in agreement with you. I think if they draft or go undrafted,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be fine. I mean, even if they rely on Nate Carter, who's a speedy, he's a speedy guy. What do you,
I just think the is needed. You losing Tyler Algier in that 30 to 20 range, you know, it might hinder Atlanta in some ways when you're in the red zone. And
you don't think Bijan is that umph?
oh no, he definitely is. But I'm talking in terms of, do you overutilize Bijan in that aspect, or do you want to bring something or someone in that can give you that balance? Brian Robinson Jr. is my guy that I would like to see in Atlanta. Offers you the same umph that Tyler did. You look at the touchdown trajectory; it's about the same. You know, and he's an all-purpose back. He did it when he was with the Commanders. He offers you a lot of the similarities that Tyler is leaving a void in. That would be my guy. You don't gotta like it. That's okay. But you know, a Robinson
I like it
backfield,
depending on the cost. How about that?
I don't think the cost would be that significant, to be honest with you. He's only 26 years, 26, 27 years of age, and relatively has been healthy, same as Tyler. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by that. He's a big back, 6'1", 230 pounds. He offers you that ump. I mean, if you call it for whatever it is, you're changing the dynamic, of course, when you lose a Tyler Algier when you're in that red zone. Not saying that Bijan is not a guy that can bring you all the expletive. He's that guy. He
So
really is.
we're gonna have B Robinson squared in the backfield. Is that what you're telling me?
Let's yeah. I mean, I'm sure if it's allowed. Can I
B
tell
Rob squared.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
You're gonna confuse the fans during fantasy draft.
Hey, that's on them.
Let me get B Robinson Jr. with the number 1 overall pick.
Shit. Oh my God! Imagine that. Oh shit! That's not the one I wanted. No, but for me, it's I look at it from that perspective, right? I look at it, how is Stefanski going to juggle his red zone area when it comes to his running back room, or how he, how he's going to scheme up his concept? Is 22 personnel going to be something, or is he going to live and die by the 12, 13 personnel when we get into that range and just solely rely on Bijan? I'm in the crowd where give me a thumper down there where you're going to make defenses really pay to stop the run in Atlanta. I think
you're looking for a done and duck it. Is that what you're looking for?
Why the hell not? Old school. Why not?
So we're drafting running back at 48 is what I'm hearing.
We're not drafting running back at 48. Don't you start that narrative, because we're not, man.
Okay. All right, my bad.
No. You good. There's a lot of people out in the Twitter world that love to, just drive the narrative in terms of what is needed actually at 48. And for us, we can speculate all we want, but to be honest, I think we might go offensive line.
Well, will we actually be at 48?
He's not a trading man. He's not an aggressive type like Terry. He might stand pat. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
He might be picking at 52 instead of 48 is what I'm saying.
Oh, 52, 52. I like that. Hey, open to all suggestions in that regard. Why the hell not? So begs the question. I guess we're talking free agents is still available. B Rob is still available. Do you see a free agent that's out there still that piques your interest? Because there's one guy we have to kill some traction on. But any names out there that still, tickle your fancy?
Well, the guy out of Houston, Dare Ogunbowale. It gives you returner ability, gives you some third down. Hey, let's give Bijan a little bit of, rest. I think he's serviceable. He's a vet. He's 32 years old, understands it. I would have said Jerome Ford, but I think he signed with the team.
He did.
Sign with the team. So that was someone. That would be someone. Hey, why not get a reunion train? Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is still available, 31 years of age. He was the goal line back for Stefanski, and he was a goal line back in Kansas City. He took touches away from Isaiah Pacheco, right? And Isaiah Pacheco, some people regarded as a bit of a thumper, right? He was the kid with silver teeth that needed to go to the dentist that would just stick his head down and try and run you over. And then Kareem, hey man, I mean that's the best analogy I can give you. But Kareem Hunt, was taking touches from him. So I don't know. I don't want them to go out of their way because you could have gotten Rachaad White. Rachaad White signed for 1 year, $2 million.
$2 million. Are you surprised? Let me stop you there. Are you surprised at how low these contracts have been handed out by several teams? Yes. Other than the Carolina Panthers overpaying for a lot of players, which congratulations on that part. Yeah, but are you surprised at the least bit like Rachaad White, like $2 million, really? Like for a running back of his skill set?
It seems like either it's a giant contract or it's very low with a heavy incentive pool. Right. It's very heavy incentive. And I don't know if that's the trend that we're going into the NFL. But yeah, 1 year, $2 million. I would have thought he'd get at least 1 year 5, 1 year 6 or something, but maybe he took cheaper money to reunite with his college teammate, maybe Jaden Daniels. I don't know. But it does seem like a lot of vets are taking cheaper and cheaper deals.
Yeah. This one here, Najee Harris, in or out on him. I would.
He can barely see. He's only got one good eye, and he doesn't know where the gap is going to open up. Like he reminds me of a Trent Richardson that runs into the back of the offensive line.
I love that comparison.
That
Yeah.
I'm totally out on him. Like,
And
don't
he's
do
from
not.
Alabama. Yeah.
There have been very few Alabama running backs that actually pan out. The three that come to mind right away: the King, right, Derrick Henry,
Mm-hmm.
Jahmyr Gibbs, and then I
Mm-hmm.
just had Josh Jacobs. Those are the only ones that
Yeah.
have really panned out. Stay away from Alabama running backs. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
They're typically not that good. I think your boy AJ Epinesa just signed, I think, with the Cleveland Browns. He was still out there. And I think I just
No,
saw something. 1 year,
no,
5 million. Yeah.
Ian, no, that was
Yeah,
my
yeah, man. Yeah.
guy.
I feel like he did. But with AJ,
Oh.
I raised you a Khalil Mack. Does that still pique your interest in any way? He's still productive if he's out there
He signed.
still.
He re-signed with the Chargers, bro.
Did he resign? Did he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I did
Let
have
me
a
go back. AJ. All right, I'm done.
Oh man, Joey Bosa.
Hey, I'm all down for it. If you're going wide nine, hand in the dirt, true DNs,
Mm-hmm.
give it to me.
Okay.
Give it to me.
Okay.
Give it to me. Give it to me. No.
No, but I'm surprised that Ian hasn't targeted offensive linemen in free agency.
Well, he
So
did.
that,
He targeted Corey Levin, Lloyd Cushenberry's
well, yeah,
backup.
Lloyd quit. Yeah, okay. All right, you got me. But I'm just saying, like, but what's that compared to all the defensive linemen that we've signed? So for me, sometimes subliminal things like that are an indicator where we might go actually in the draft. So I don't know.
Could
That's
we go center? Would
at
that be
48.
elite?
It's too rich. It's too rich. I think you target one of these offensive tackles, especially guys that you may think might go in that back half.
Could it be Oscar Delp, who just had a phenomenal pro day at Georgia?
What are you doing with Kyle Pitts if that's the case?
What do you mean? What are you doing?
Does Stefanski's scheme allow two tight ends within the scheme to be
Yes.
properly utilized? Okay.
Yes.
I'll be basing that off of Harold Fannin and David Njoku.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because Charlie Warner is more of just a sixth offensive lineman. You're not thinking Charlie Warner is a receiving threat. Oscar Delp, man, because then if Kyle walks, signs a big lucrative deal, hey, low comp pick, or we touched on this, if he doesn't fit what Stefanski and Tommy Rees wants to do, and he starts the season with us, hey, playoff team, look what I have here, to the highest bidder.
Right, right. And that was a behind the stage discussion too. I think Ian is cerebral enough to know, okay, this is a premium guy. It's not going this way. Let's dangle him. Let's see what we can get back for him. And I'm warming up to this comment that you made. Oscar Delp in a Falcons uniform, running a 4.47.
It would get the fan. I mean, he athletically, he scores off the charts.
Sure does.
He's got that burst too, like break away as a tight end, right? He's not the physical specimen that Brock Bowers was, but hey, man, ball in his hands, he can make things happen. And you just never know, right? We're really in a situation where 48, if we stay there or trade back, we could go wherever.
Yeah.
Ian is going to look to bring it. Remember, the draft is to add talent. It's not for needs. You don't draft for needs. When you do that, that's when you can't build a winning roster. Why do you think Howie Roseman last year, you didn't need a linebacker? Why'd you take Jahad Campbell? Because Jahad Campbell's a good freaking football player, and that allowed them Nakobe Dean to walk, and guess what? They got a comp pick for Nakobe Dean.
Smart. Strategic.
I'm not going to talk about the Ravens anymore because Eric DeCosta, I kind of him after what he did.
He blackballed himself, dude.
He did.
He really freaking did, man. Oh man, hey Max, if you ever want to come on a podcast that has a little traction, come on down. You can make all the spews you want, man.
This is on a side note, like
got it.
Off topic. But did you hear him on his podcast say that the first 5 hours that he was in Baltimore didn't see Jesse Minter and didn't see Eric DeCosta, and then when he did see them, like the energy was off. Like he felt like something was going on, and then boom.
They play keep away, and then they blindsided him. Yeah, that makes you real shady, right? Real shady to do business with. And Jesse
Man,
meant to, damn it, man, you don't want to sour your look throughout the league, first year head coach.
man.
Oh man, that's bad. That's a bad look for you. Hucklebuck says, and Ian, we trust absolutely, man. And he's learned from great minds. We talking about the Baltimore Ravens, Ozzie Newsome. We talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman. So, yeah, I feel like Ian is going to relish in this opportunity to make the most bold, strategies that we can do going forward. Who is this kid? We got to ban this. We got to ban this asshole.
Hey, I saw a video of you playing some flag football, and just so you know,
Tell him
if that was me,
clamp.
It wasn't happening.
Yeah, baby. Tell him.
It wasn't happening. No,
I love it, man. Oh man. All right. So here we go.
Back on subject. Okay, here we go.
Back on subject.
Let me hear your rant on this.
So listen, okay. And obviously, please chime in, flame if you have to. I got to give my take on this, right? I am not for Steve Spagnuolo, guys. Why is that, right? Because Steve Spagnuolo, as great as a defensive coordinator that he has been throughout the league, known for his 2 Super Bowl stints with the New York Giants, known for his Super Bowl stints with his Kansas City Chiefs. But can you pluck from those eras any players that have had immediate or instant success on other ball clubs? Don't worry, I will wait. Because I will bring up Antonio Pierce. He flopped massively with the Raiders. I will bring up Matthias Kiwanuka, if anybody remembers who that is.
What a pull.
Flopped miserably. Even the great O.C. Umenyiora didn't have the success that was warranted in his New York Giant years. You look at what he's doing now with the Chiefs. What players on the Chiefs that have been on other teams have been massive hits or success, right? A lot of people chime in and say, and they use this young man right here, L'Jarius Sneed. Wasn't the case when he went to Tennessee. A lot of the players that have gone through his tutelage have been system guys under a Spagnuolo tree. That's it. That's really it. You can say Justin Reed, but he came from the Houston Texans, and he landed in a Spagnuolo scheme.
Hello.
Tyrann Mathieu just cut differently, right? He was great, and it didn't matter where you put him, right? Trent McDuffie is going to be that guy too when it's all said and done. A guy that if he ever does leave that organization of Kansas City, he will have success. You can say the same for Nick Bolton. You can say the same for George Kalafis. You can say the same, of course, for Chris Jones. But the buck stops after a handful of players. So Spagnuolo really hasn't made names in the NFL that say, oh, that's a Spagnuolo guy. We need him on our squad. L'Jarius Sneed benefited from an aggressive scheme because that's what Spagnuolo is known for. And he just had to play like a man on an island waiting for a jump ball, to jump a route, to snag a 50-50 ball, whatever the case was. And now this is no disrespect to L'Jarius Sneed because it takes a certain special player to play on the boundaries. Or like Roddy White used to say, the big boys play on the outside. And L'Jarius Sneed under Steve Spagnuolo's scheme did exactly that. He landed a lucrative deal with the Tennessee Titans. Congratulations to him. But where's the success following that? Injury marred seasons, and he's just a big name or a former big name that is just out there to be had, right? This might sound crazy. I will take 11 interceptions from a player that is out there right now over what Sneed has done the previous years. Amen.
Who's that? Who's that?
Diggs.
Oh, give me neither. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hey, listen, it's not. It's an acquired taste. If you haven't had caviar, this is like having caviar for the first time. But I'm definitely and 100% out on L'Jarius Sneed for those reasons.
And this is where I tell you that I agree with you. We don't need L'Jarius Sneed. Everybody needs to get in their right mind that Mike Hughes is good enough. He's not the best, but he's good enough at the price that you have him.
Hold on. I had to be a little bit controversial. And Bones, you're the one that flipped me off in social media, on Twitter. No, I'm playing. He did it. But no. In all honesty, that's just my feeling on L'Jarius Sneed. I had to throw Diggs out there just to be controversial.
Yeah, no, Mike Hughes. Can we upgrade from Mike Hughes? Yes. I think we should be looking towards doing that, right? And if for some reason, right?
It's a drug-free zone here. Like CM Punk, maybe. Straight edge society.
Damn, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna go stone cold there and give you a little banger, but I went dry. He said Bud Light.
Do it, man.
Hold on. If you love the Atlanta Falcons, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was bad. Anyways, Mike Hughes, we will be okay. If we draft a corner at 48 or in the second round, wherever we may be, that's okay too, right? I think there's going to be some really good corners in the second round that we can take, right?
Yeah.
Diggs was a second rounder. I don't know what round L'Jarius Sneed was, but he wasn't a first round corner, right?
No.
You just find someone that fits your mold, right? That could potentially be not a superstar, but at least close to a Pro Bowl, a fringe level Pro Bowl player. Again, we don't need to spend all this money.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man.
We don't need to spend all this money on a washed up injured corner. We don't. Same thing with Diggs. Tore his knee. Couldn't stay healthy last year. He made his money. I mean, if he wants to come cheap, right? The Packers claimed him off waivers, and then they cut his ass right away. Why?
Yeah.
Garbage. Both of them are washed. They had good years. Good years. Kudos to you. It's hard to play corner. I think it's the second hardest position behind quarterback. And if you could play at an elite level, hell yeah. But when are elite corners actually available on the market? Very rare. You got to give up what LA gave up for Trent McDuffie. And it's not the first time they've given up stuff. They did it with Jalen Ramsey, right? I mean, it just is what it is. So, no. Get it out of your mind. No L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I just seeing a lot, and you're like, man. I don't know, man. I see you got to do your homework when you want to pluck players from other organizations. You really have to think, okay, what's the fundamentals on that defensive coordinators? What's their track record? What's their succession? What players have they molded? Then that you can honestly say, okay, that player has had impact on other teams through his guidance, and it's slim pickings. And Spagnuolo is a Hall of Fame, if you want to call him Hall of Fame defensive coordinator. Shit, how many rings does he have? 5 as a defensive coordinator. You know,
two with the Giants, and then how many with the Chiefs?
What, like 2 or 3 with the Chiefs? Whatever it is, you know, the guy does have a successful track record as a coach, but not a coach of men in that regard. So sorry, but for me, it's I'm out on him too. Jones says, I think one thing to keep in mind is we're signing guys who have history with a coach on the team. Question is, who has history that's a free agent right now?
I'll give you one name.
Uh-oh.
Isaiah Oliver.
Hey, good old Isaiah Oliver. Did
Falcon.
play for the Jets under Ulbrich.
And he didn't play boundary. He was a nickel guy.
He was a nickel guy. But we just signed a guy from the Raiders, Ricky Manning, junior ties.
Competition, right? If you don't know Billy Bowman's health and you don't want to rush the young kid back in, get some competition in there. Isaiah Oliver is a big corner to play nickel. Like, he's big. But then again, it's 2026. I know. I know. Hey, I'm answering the question, okay?
Oh
If
man,
we're going
that's
to go at
awesome.
that point, you might as well get
Mhm.
someone like Takario Davis out of
Mm.
Washington from the Huskies in day 3. I like his game. He was projecting to be a late day 1, early day 2 guy had he declared last year, but he decided to transfer and stay in school. And I guess he had a down year, and is why he's not higher on boards. But he's definitely someone I keep my. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4" as a corner. That's huge.
You said Takario Davis,
Yeah, he played for Arizona
Arizona. Okay,
before
that's what I remember
transferring
the
to
name from.
Washington.
Okay, okay. Yeah, man, it's wonderful. This is the most wonderful time of the year for NFL fans. Seeing where your team's going to go, who they're going to pluck from. So I'm still optimistic that the Falcons have a move or two left under
Well,
their belt.
let's look because I think some of these contracts that got announced today have hit, and the Falcons right now, if I can find them, they're down to 6 million in cap space.
Cool.
The two that haven't hit yet is Aziz's contract is not reporting
Hmm.
yet, and
Hmm.
Alamade's is not reporting yet. So probably going to see another restructure so we're able to sign our rookie class.
Yeah. And I think the biggest one on tab, I think you mentioned it, it's Chris Lindstrom. We already did one with AJ, simple restructure. I think Chris Lindstrom's frees up about 11 million or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, what we have now, having 20 mil to play around with going into the season, after or even 10 million is good insurance money to have. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. He's probably working the books, right? He's had busy days, lots of pro days going on.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see in the next coming days what Ian decides to do. When he touched Jake Matthews' contract, I was kind of like, "Ooh." Makes me.
That one I didn't understand. I thought we were done extending him. I
So we're
thought
not.
he had reached.
Yeah, so he had gotten an extension, but he did a restructure of his contract. And I
Hmm.
want to look to see what exactly it did. He may have added like a void year.
Hmm.
It's funny to see Kirk Cousins' name crossed off, but
Yeah,
he's still there because he can't be. He's not technically.
not yet.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like they added a void year to his contract for 2029. So his deal is up in 2028. He'll be 36 at that point. His cap number got lowered. It's 13 million this year. Next year's is only 6, or I'm sorry, this year's is 16 million. Next year's is 26 and a half. And then 28 and a half.
Hmm.
So
Some
it'll
business
it'll
decisions.
be interesting to see if he decides to continue to play or if he decides to retire because he's teetering on that. I'm sure those conversations are going to start to be had, especially with Matt Ryan, who played with him. Right,
Hmm.
Matt Ryan was the quarterback when Jake Matthews was drafted. What was it, number 6?
He
Were
was
we 6?
drafted 6 overall.
So
Yep.
2 years later, right? Or yeah, 2010 or 20, yeah, 2010. Because then the next year we drafted Julio.
Hmm.
Um, it'll be interesting.
It definitely will. What also is interesting is we got to talk about Tua because there's a narrative out there that Tua
Ooh.
is the future for Atlanta, and this is in multiple media circuits have mentioned that, but there's one from ESPN that kind of criticizes Atlanta for signing Tua. I mean, saying that was a head scratcher. I don't know if you came around to that one yet. But essentially is they don't see the reason why signing Tua to Atlanta makes sense. And I'm like, what other option was there?
So I
What?
see. I can kind of see why they say that because Tua historically has been a shotgun quarterback. He hasn't
Mhm.
been asked to go under center, right? That was the Mike McDaniel offense. It was a lot of shotgun, 11 personnel, a lot of motion, pre-snap motion, and all that. But I don't think it's something he can't do. He's an on-time quarterback that thrives in the play action, right?
Mhm.
Whether that's in shotgun or under center, I think we're going to see a heavy dose of it. And you've got
Mhm.
a better back, a better offensive line. I would say one better receiver, right? Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle when they were there, pretty elite duo. Um, I think it makes sense because you've seen the success Tua has, right? What is Tua's biggest knocks, right? His decision making last year was abysmal. And then his head injuries, right? The head injuries, it's like that's kind of like these freak accidents, right? Braylon Trice tearing his knee 2 years in a row. You don't predict that stuff, right? And I'm not saying Tua is a superstar, right? I'm saying that he was brought in to push Michael to potentially start, which I think he's going to start because I don't think Michael is going to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be healthy, and I think they're not going to rush it. But ultimately, I think it's Tua's job to lose. And sometimes a change of scenery works out for a quarterback, right? Sam Darnold had 1 year in Minnesota, and he exploded. I'm not saying that's what Tua's going to do, right? You just never know. You never know with a quarterback. And if he does explode and then he leaves and gets this massive deal somewhere else, okay. We get a comp
pick, baby.
We get a comp pick. We knew what we had. We knew, we had now if Michael plays and he doesn't play well, okay, we know we have to assess that position going into 2027 once again. And, that could be a draft pick or it could be another free agent guy. And I swear to God, it better not be Baker Mayfield, who's a free agent. I swear to God, Tampa better go ahead and extend him at least 1 or 2 more years because I don't reunite him with Kevin. That's all I'm going to say.
Shit. Right. Yeah. I didn't even think about it like that. You have a point, right? Oh man. So we gotta really bank on Tua balling out this year because I'm really prepared to just go into the season with Tua as the starting quarterback, man. I mean, I get it. Like all the great things that need to be said about Penix, his sit down with John Gruden where he proclaimed that he'll be ready for week 1. That's great. You want to talk yourself up that way. You want to lead the fan base to knowing that. But brother, you've seen it. I've seen it. I think the world have seen it. Mechanically, there's things that have to be worked on. And if you can't right those wrongs in this offseason, which right now you don't have the time to put in for because you're held back, you're going to walk into 2026 with the same problems. And you're just going to continue to nail your own coffin. Yeah. So
the things he got away with in high school and in college, it just doesn't cut it in the pros.
No,
it doesn't. You can't just muscle your way into getting a throw where it needs to go. It's just inaccurate at that point, right? And that was his biggest knock coming into the NFL, his accuracy problem.
His footwork.
And his footwork, right? We talked about it off air. His feet are not connected to his hips, which are not connected to his shoulders, which are not connected to his arm. With one of those being off, it throws everything off. And to the people that try and downplay mechanics are a huge ordeal no matter the position.
Wait, who's downplaying mechanics?
You have some fans downplaying some mechanics. And I don't care if it's quarterback. I don't care if it's wide receiver, corner, safety, linebacker, defensive line, offensive line. Mechanics matter when you play at the professional level. Okay? You have these amazing athletes in high school and college, but why don't they make it in the pros? It's because they're not a master of their craft. They're not putting in the work to work on their pass rush moves, to work on anchoring in on a bull rush or countering a pass rush move, timing, doing all the little things that matter in the professional sport of football. And it doesn't matter. It's not just football, right? You can take it to any sport. That's what separates the average from the great and the Hall of Fame players. And if Michael really wants to be great, he's got to really look himself in the mirror and quit saying that I'm ready, I can do it. We know you can do it, but you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. And by no means am I no quarterback expert, right? But we know plenty of people that are, and they're saying the same exact thing. Mechanics matter. Remember that. If you're a young viewer and you're playing the sport right now, you need to work on your mechanics and dial that in. It doesn't matter how you need to be strong, you need to be fast. But if you can't time things and separate yourself that little much, right? What's the game of football? It's a game of inches.
Game of inches, man. Yeah.
Right? That's the difference between a college guy that didn't make it to the pros and a college guy that ended up being a Hall of Fame player.
Right. And one guy that is well on his way to the Hall of Fame, and the great Damsky brought him up. Josh Allen. What was he when he first came in? Just just an irrational quarterback, and he put in the work
He
to
put in
get
the work.
himself
The
to get
thing,
himself right.
the thing about Josh Allen, though, I like the comparison, right? Because Josh
Sure.
has a strong arm, accuracy
Yep.
problems. It took time. Now he's one of the
Mhm.
more accurate quarterbacks in the league. He
Absolutely.
was he was a freak athlete.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, you could run the ball with him. They still do
You
to this
could.
day,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's that's where Penix lacks. Is like you're not designing quarterback runs for him.
No, you're not. Right. And by no means do we not have faith in Michael Penix, right? Because we do. You do. We're behind, or I can
Apparently, I
say at
don't.
least
Apparently, I don't. I got blocked today because apparently.
to each his own, man. To each his own with that. When there's people that get muted all the time, right, and blocked and stuff like that. You're very sensical in the way that you think, and especially the way that you explain your content. It should not lead to people doing what they do, because it's like, hey, there's a person that might know more than me. Oops, sorry, it's not intended to be that way. It's just you have time to put in that work and understand the game for what it is. And we're not sitting up here to criticize Michael Penix in any way, shape, or form. We're just stating the obvious facts that are out there, right? You can open up any blog, any media, about Michael Penix, and even the draft evaluators say the same thing. When he gets to the NFL level, if he doesn't get his mechanics right or his footwork, he's going to struggle in the league. And we just want him to obviously heal first and foremost. We wish him well in that. But brother, after you're ripe and ready to go, you got to take a long look in the mirror and say, okay, this is essentially my last go at it in the NFL with this football team if I'm going to make something of myself.
Well, think about this too. Like to the fans that are, apparently I am getting some food. Hold on. What is this?
Don't
I
ever
don't know
question
what
what's
this
being
is.
brought. What is that?
I don't know. Some sort of cake. There wasn't cake in the kitchen when I got in here.
Well, then surprise, goddammit.
Oh, it smells amazing. It looks like some sort of jelly filling.
Is that guava?
Ain't no fucking guava.
What do you have against guava? You've already pissed me off air. You haven't watched Nacho Libre. You've never watched Dumb and Dumber. Now you don't know what guava is.
I know what guava is, but I don't eat it. Okay. Anyways.
Oh shit.
Anyways. I have a question
for
the fans, right? If you're watching here and you're like a Penix like truther, right?
Mm.
Would you be a Penix truther if he wore a different uniform? Or would you be like any other fan base and say that guy does not belong and is not a starter? That's my question, because when he was selected 8th overall, nowhere was it projected that we were going to take him. There were some people like, oh yeah, we should go quarterback. And we were all like, no. Latu. Stop. Do not encourage this. We were supposed to select Latu or even Gerard Verse, right? Where are we? Where are you? If Penix is wearing a Las Vegas Raider uniform, right? Are they still picking number 1? Maybe not. Right? Would you be upset if they selected Fernando Mendoza with Penix on the roster? No, because he's not a Falcon at that point.
He's not a Falcon at that point, right?
Guys, I'm guilty of it as well. Emotionally tying myself to players, right? Like Tyler Algier when he left.
Ooh, brother. I learned the hard way with that.
When he was traded. Bijan, I am emotionally tied to him. If we don't extend him, it will be a very sad day for me as a player or as a fan. Matt Ryan. I defend Matt Ryan like he's my freaking uncle, right? That's how emotionally tied I am. But at the end of the day, guys, what matters more? Your emotional attachment to the player or the fact that you cheer on this football team and you want W's to get out of the gutter that we have been this past 10 years? What would you rather have? Michael Penix Jr. be the starter and us go 6-11 or 7-10, or Tua start and then we go on 11-5? Are you going to be mad then? Answer me truthfully. If you're watching this and you're a Penix truther, answer me truthfully. Would you rather have a losing season with Penix or would you rather have a winning season with Tua? And I'm not saying they can't be reversed. We might have a losing season with Tua and we might have a winning season with Penix. There's no telling because it's a new regime. But answer me, what if that happens? Are we in another Desmond Ridder situation?
Oh God, not him.
That was some dark days because I was defending Desmond Ridder. I
Yeah.
believed in Desmond Ridder, and I was wrong about Desmond Ridder. I'm on air saying that. A lot of people aren't. They won't admit to that.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm not emotionally tied to any quarterback because I just want to win. I'm tired of other fan bases, specifically in our divisions, talking down to us like they're that much better when we had the same freaking record last year.
You know it. And a lot of them come from Carolina. I was like, brother, you've been in the same boat that we have been, if not longer. So there's really no rhyme or reason for certain Panther fans or creators to even talk, man.
Damn.
But yeah,
I gotta clip that. Someone clip that.
Yeah, man. No, do it, brother. Yeah, it's it's good shit. But it's justified talk, right? Because a lot of people aren't comfortable to talk about Michael Penix, right? You know, Michael Penix, I get it. When he was drafted, in some ways, was he deemed the Messiah in Atlanta? Probably, because here's another young, athletically gifted quarterback making his rounds, and he was expected to take us to prominence, and it just hasn't happened like that. It hasn't happened, but there's layers behind. I feel like, Penix didn't succeed right off the rip, and development is one of them. I don't feel like the coaches that were in place at quarterback, maybe, offensively, were the right fit for Michael Penix and his skill attributes. That's just my take. That's just what I feel about that, because they have a big say and a big pointing of the arrow going up in how a player develops year in and year out. So, and sure, a lot of it does fall on the player too. But to that, like you say, the truthers need to, really show us what you feel. Honestly, would you rather take a winning season with Tua or go back to, some of the inconsistencies that we've been suffering under Michael Penix? And that can absolutely be roles reversed. For me, give me what the fans are saying now. I'll take a 11-5 season in a playoff berth because, God damn it, we haven't had it in that long, brother. We haven't had it in that long.
That's why, I don't get the sense is Michael Penix Jr. is a Falcon. Don't get it twisted. I want him to do well. I want anyone that wears the Falcon on their helmet, that wears the black and red and white, to do well, to be successful. When they join this team, right? Caden joining from that garbage of a team. Hey, we know, right? Relax. We're not getting there. I'm just saying either or.
No. But I'll raise you this, and I'm not trying to draw a comparison where Tua can go. But was Sam Darnold ever envisioned as a Super Bowl winning quarterback, or was it him landing with the right scheme or the right coach to lead him to the big dance, the reason why he is what he is now?
He's like Jalen Hurts. You surround him with good coaching, you surround him with talent, and they do just enough to help their team win. Because if you look at it, right, Sam didn't do much. He made a couple plays here and there in the passing game, but it was Kenneth Walker and that defense smothering the New England Patriots. And the same could be said, right? That's why they say defense wins championships, because the New England Patriots played abysmally in the playoffs offensively. They did just enough because the other teams offensively did worse.
Right.
So just do enough. You just don't know. What is the tweet I have pinned? Sports are fluid. What happened last year doesn't mean it's going to happen this year, unless you're the Cleveland Browns, okay? And that's why Kevin Stefanski is happy to be in Atlanta. But it's the same thing week in and week out. A player may have the worst game possible in his career and then bounce right back the next week, and you're like, what just happened? That's the game of sports, and that's why you love it, right? Because it's so unpredictable. These teams that are favorites, and when they don't live up to the hype, oh, what happened? Oh, what happened? Yeah, they did. Just can't.
Tua and Tommy Reese. That's fine.
You have your opinion. You know what I'm going to get behind? The fact that I want Tua or whoever the starting quarterback is, whether it's Michael Penix Jr. or him, to do well.
Yeah, I understand. I understand the Tommy Reese where you're going with this, but I think one man is going to rise to prominence, and that's Tanner Estrogen. I think this man is going to be the reason why this Falcons team can push and move the ball down the field. Tua, we already know, has an arm. He can make all the throws, albeit not as strong maybe as Penix, but drawing up the concepts and aligning your players where they need to be, and the timing that Tua's going to have with these guys under Tanner and his capabilities of drawing up these plays is going to hit a whole lot different than what we have had here in Atlanta in quite some time. So sometimes it's the little things that matter too.
Yeah, Tanner Engstrand is a huge upgrade from TJ Yates. I'll tell you that much. And the Buck fans are like gassing it up, like, "Oh yeah, we got TJ Yates and Zach Robinson." Okay, when you finish last in the division, let us know how that worked.
Bingo. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But these are healthy conversations that need to have, right? Whether you feel like they're wrong or right, justified. Oh, these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Whatever floats your boat,
Everyone's
right?
got their own
They
opinion.
have to have them. You have to have them.
If you're not willing to have the uncomfortable conversations, how can you expect the team to get better? Yeah. Right? It's the uncomfortable conversations when you've been bad for so long. That's why don't be surprised if Jesse Bates gets extended, if he gets traded, or if he's let walked, right? All those three things are very possible. In these situations, especially with the GM as aggressive as Ian Cunningham to acquire draft capital. He is going to keep this team with depth. He is going to keep this team young.
And young is the new sexy thing in the NFL, going that way. So that's awesome.
If everyone else is young and you've got a young team, it's level, right? You just got to get the right young guy.
Yeah. It's awesome. Hey, so before we close out, we got about 3 more minutes, well over 300 people here watching, man. We certainly thank everybody that has tuned in this Wednesday evening for Reporting Eligible, coming to you live as always. And again, a big thank you to everybody that is in the chat as well. We'll close out with this, and this is something to look forward to, right? The NFLPA, or the NFL Association, handed out some bonuses to certain players that hit certain escalators in their contracts based off player performances. And one of our very own, Xavier Watts, came in at number 11. He's standing to earn another $1.5 million on his contract because of his performance, right? We thank Terry Fontenot for being as aggressive as he normally is and acquiring a guy like Xavier Watts, but just the level of play that he was able to sustain all year with no drawback is a breath of fresh air, right? We haven't had a safety combination like Bates and Watts in seems like forever, but late as years progress, it's going to be fun to watch how Xavier, grows himself within the league, right? We can have our very own version of a Kyle Hamilton, once it's all said and done. Maybe not as physical as Kyle is, but the playmaker, I think, is where we can draw a similar comparison once it's all said and done. So, go ahead.
I think the turnover aspect, that's a good comparison. My counter to you.
I know. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. The tan was popping. I'll tell you that for training camp.
My thing is Kyle Hamilton is like a Derwin James that can line up at linebacker, that can line up at the nickel, that can line up at safety. Whereas Watts, I don't think he can do that. But that doesn't mean he can't be a 6-7 interception a year kind of safety, PBU, killer, directing the defense, right? Going into year 2, I'm expecting a little bit of a leap from him, right? What do you have? 5 interceptions? Give me 6 or 7 next year.
5 and 11 PDs.
Give quarterbacks a healthy fear of when they see you in the middle of the field or one side that they don't want to go that way, right? That's why AJ Terrell, isn't targeted that much, because he's blanketing his players. So
Very, very solid, man. Very, very solid, man. This has been 1000% fun, man, as it is every Wednesday night. And we certainly have you guys to thank, man. You guys are a driving force and motivation to keep trotting out these bangers. And we're allowed to say that non biasedly so. So for the Falcons, we always want the best interest for them in whichever direction they go. I learned this lesson as you were pointing out, taking out the feeling or the attachment from a player. And I have Uncle Steve to thank, right? Because he kind of gave me that broad perspective because obviously he's been around longer than I have and he's had that attachment issue. And he came to a realization you're cheering for the team, not the player, right? You can be a fan of the player all you want, right? But it's not the player itself that actually goes and obtains the playoff berth or gets the championship. It's the team. It's collectively the team. So yeah, man, it's a hard thing to it's a hard pill to swallow, but you have to conceptualize that quick in order to move on with this team. And that's exactly what we're electing to do is moving on with the team itself. But enough from me. Bro Talk, let the folks know where they can find you on a daily basis, man.
you mean lucha libre? Hold on,
Oh,
Before I say my stuff, did you ever watch Mucha Lucha, the cartoon?
yeah, I did.
Why you say it like that? That was a banger of a show.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And I say it like that because it's vagueness that I have with reason. But yeah, I do remember.
Anyways, guys, as always, short form content wherever you get it: TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts. Daily tweets at BK squared 7. We put out a long form content video at Dirty Bird Central. It was my first mock draft, thinking like Ian Cunningham. I got cooked in the comments. Apparently, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but if you want to check it out, be sure to do so. I'll drop another
Do it.
one. We'll update the mock draft based off who we signed. So thank you.
Stop forgetting the Tuesday night shtick, man.
I forget. Okay, guys. I forget because it is still kind of brand new, but not really. I am your Falcons representative on the NFC South Roundtable. What is it? 8:00 Eastern, right?
Yes,
8:00 Eastern on Tuesday night. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys came and supported. It's flooded with Panther fans because they all of a sudden think they're the best in the division. TJ has a great following with the New Orleans Aints fan base. And James, it's James, but I'd really appreciate a showing out there. Berto, I didn't get a chance to tell you. A lot of people miss you. They're like, "Where's Berto?" They miss you.
Yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate all of them, but you know, it's I'm in the pay it forward way of life.
I appreciate you.
I'll leave it at that, man, for sure. As for me, of course, you can find me here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Reporting Eligible. And you can also find me Monday through Friday on Bleacher Report as your official Falcons content creator. Been dropping a lot of nuggets on there. And if you care to, please go on and review it. Tua was one of my main topics. That video will be dropping tomorrow. Xavier Watts, and amongst other several topics that are all relevant and related to the Atlanta Falcons. You can find them on a daily, exclusively on the Bleacher Report app. For me, a guy that has watched Nacho Libre, not like my co-host, hasn't. We'll leave it at that. But until next Wednesday evening, man, we certainly will give you your evening back to enjoy. We thank you so much again. We will see you next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. here on Reporting Eligible. And if you're going to mock the hashtag, grow a sack and call us out. But until then, enjoy your evening. Peace.